報告關於新冠肺炎。
Alice 聽唔到你講，你有講話冇？
我冇開麥 ，sorry， 重新講過。各位兄弟姊妹，大家晚上好。而家我哋開始今日嘅討論，我哋先報告關於呢個新冠肺炎嘅疫情。首先報告馬來西亞吉隆坡嘅喺呢個係17號嘅新聞，就破咗最高嘅紀錄。喺 ICU 有522個人急救，而273個人需要呼吸器。咁喺呢個疫情嘅第19個禮拜啊，即是5月9號到15號，總共有209單嘅死亡嘅病人，死亡嘅人，平均每日有30個人死呢個新冠肺炎，比上一個禮拜係增加咗53.7%啊，係相當高嘅，高到53.7%。跟住大馬醫藥協會佢哋覺得好關注啊，因為市面上而家用緊嘅一啲抗原快速檢測試劑即是 RTK antigen 佢嘅品質啊，佢哋有收到一啲頭報，佢哋有啲佢哋嘅檢查唔到positive 嘅呢個即係有確診嘅病例啊，佢哋有一啲試劑係檢查唔到嘅。而家呢個醫協主席達督蘇巴馬尼係發表文告講，而家馬來西亞有17種抗原快速檢測試劑係快嘅啦，係得到馬來西亞嘅 MDA 嘅批准，但係唔係所有嘅品質係可以接受嘅。呢個新北京嘅係有email 俾呢個世界衛生組織專家，喺7號講，最近有一啲研究人士又提出有關呢個新冠病毒係會通過空氣傳播嘅。而家世界衛生組織咧就保持開放嘅態度。就向呢方面嘅研究嚟進展啊！咁樣新冠病毒係咪確實係通過空氣傳播嗎？傳播冇？有239個人研究人士啊，向呢個世界衛生組織發出一封公開信，希望呢個世界衛生組織可以修改呢個新冠防疫嘅指南。佢哋認為一啲有新冠病毒嘅微粒可以浮喺嗰啲室內嘅空氣啊，俾人體吸入啊，就感染到咯。就希望可以各方面可以深入研究同埋確認啊，呢個新冠病毒係咪經過空氣可以傳播？ 空氣傳播嘅意思係咪？即係講就係呢個氣溶膠傳播，氣溶膠傳播。氣溶膠即係講喺空氣嗰度係咪？嗰啲病毒係咪係浮喺半空中嘅？浮住喺空氣嗰度。當我哋喺嗰啲好長時間係咪？我哋喺一個封閉嘅冷氣室啊，封閉嘅環境係冇打開窗口冇門㗎，係完全封閉嘅。如果長時間喺呢個地方係咪？如果係有呢個病毒喺嗰度，就好容易俾佢惹到咯，好容易會惹到。呢啲比較窄啊，同埋冇開窗口冇開門嘅空間啊，係個通風條件唔好係咪？當有一個確診嘅呢個新冠肺炎嘅病人係咪？當佢唞氣嘅時候啊，喺呼出嚟嘅唞氣，同埋喺咳嘅時候，同埋喺打乞嗤嘅時候，喺嗰啲帶住病毒嘅嗰個氣嘅嗰個氣溶膠嘅濃度係咪就會好高咯？會累積到好高咯，即係好多呢個病毒咯。跟住咧就好容易感染到嗰啲其他人咯。如果係喺室外係咪開放嘅地方係咪，係就會傳播到好遠，同埋係唔會咁結啊，係會好稀啊，咁樣就冇咁容易惹到人咯。所以呢個係呢200幾個專家研究到嘅。咁樣無論結果係乜嘢，都應該保持社交距離，喺適當嘅場合外戴口罩。喺公共場所戴口罩係防止病毒傳播嘅最有效嘅手段。
有啲時間。係三個人講3樣嘢嘛？咁唔係呢個依家COVID-19。
喺疫苗未研究出嚟之前，呢個係唔使用好多錢嘅做法，包埋保持社交距離、隔離同埋追蹤密切接觸者，係阻止呢個新冠疫情傳播嘅有效方式。盡量要少去好多人嘅地方，嗰啲有空氣唔流通嘅地方，或者係半流通得係唔係幾好啦，一半係有少少有開嘅，都唔係幾好。最好係直頭係室外流通嘅，勤力啲洗手，戴口罩，同埋需要注意啊，口罩嘅效果唔係保護嘅效果唔係100%，就算你係戴 N95 口罩，有研究報道啊，都有20%嘅失敗率嘅，口罩都可能會漏氣嘅問題啊。所以各方面都係注意啦。呢度有一個中咗 COVID 嘅人係咪？佢喺嗰個面子書嗰度，佢係一個民事律師嚟嘅，佢係一個律師。佢講佢唔知佢幾時惹到嘅喎，因為佢喺身邊啊嗰啲中咗 COVID 嘅人啊，冇提醒佢講佢係有呢個帶住個病毒啊，所以佢都唔知佢係幾時惹到嘅。咁佢講佢喺宋埃布魯醫院嗰度20日，就佢係33歲，又冇血壓高，冇糖尿病，冇心臟病，身體好健康嘅。所以佢諗住咧，淨係喺屋企隔離休息10日咧，好似講市面上而家講好多人都係咁樣講咯。哎呀，好似冇事咁樣噶啦，休息10日啫嘛，最多係聞唔到嘢同埋食到冇味道啫嘛。點知係咪？原來佢覺得原來係咁嚴重嘅。喺隔離第3日之後咧，佢就講話唔清楚，因為佢係一個律師啊，講話對佢係好重要嘅。對佢而家係病好都好係咪？佢都係好艱難講話，所以佢暫時都未做得佢嘅工作啊，係好艱難講話。咁佢以為佢自己中風咯，食嘢又好似啃到咁咯，飲水啊食嘢好似吞唔到咁樣咯，佢就以為中風。之後ambulance 車就載佢去宋埃布魯醫院，咁樣咧就幫佢做咗個腦嘅 CT scan， 就不過係咪佢嘅腦嘅發炎係咪整到佢嘅喉嚨直頭係冇力食嘢冇力飲水啊，食唔到嘢飲唔到水啊，所以就要插喉咯，打牛奶落去咯，所以好辛苦咯，係講好辛苦咯，就有包尿片啊，係講我一個30歲咁健康嘅人啊，又要插尿袋包尿片啊，真係接受唔到啊，係講 跟住咧就之後好似度日如年啊，好覺得好辛苦啊，插住嗰個胃嗰個鼻哥插落喉嚨嗰個口啊，又日日都愛攞安眠藥先瞓得着啊，佢講唔到話，佢想 video call 佢嘅屋企人啊，朋友啊傾下偈啊，佢都講唔到嘢，淨係可以點頭啊、搖頭咁樣。到第12日、16日係咪？佢嘅病情就比較穩定咯，就轉出去嘅普通病房咯。但係咪？佢仲係吞唔到嘢咯，吞嘢會啃到咯，就係仲係插喉啊，插喉你冇食嘢咯，病房好熱咯，跟住咧就佢都好想走出去啊，自導氣，不過佢冇走啦。所以第17日咧就係佢就冇 off tag 咗咯，冇即係講係冇呢個 covid 咗，但係咧佢仲係吞唔到嘢，同埋佢講唔到嘢咯，需要做好多嘅，仲要做嗰啲康復治療咯。所以呢個新冠肺炎真係唔係搞笑嘅。仲有一個係咪係講？所以仲有一個係講好重要下嘅，我一下冇咗嗰份嘢。所以呢個新冠肺炎嘅報告係到咁多為止咯。Brad 已經有咩補充冇？
有。Hello, brothers and sisters. Today we have our bilingual discussion as I posted in our WhatsApp group. So I need to know, okay? I need to know. I'm looking at the name list here. Who is AO? Do you need me to speak in English? Because I can see Brother Tonghua can understand Cantonese, and then not sure which Jenny. Is it Jenny? Singapore Jenny? Are you Singapore Jenny? Do you need to speak in English? Do you need me to speak in English and translate what Sister Alice just mentioned earlier? AO, is it Alex Ong?
Andrew Ong.
Andrew Ong. Okay, you understand Cantonese?
A bit.
AO. Okay, thanks. Jenny. Okay, in any case, I'll just quickly run through what Alice mentioned earlier. She said that the virus is airborne. So what does it mean, okay, by the virus is airborne? It means this, okay. What does it mean? There. This is what I've been saying, wow, for a whole year, okay. 我成年啊，講咗乜嘢？政治咧 ，OK， 政治人物咧，佢係做乜嘢？佢嘅責任搞政治 ，OK， 有啲目標咧，政治嘅目標咧，點樣講？唔配合科學嘅目標。I've been saying for a whole year that the politicians have their political agenda. Okay, they have their political objective. I'm not saying it's good or bad. I'm just saying that they have their political objective. And some, political objective may not connect directly with scientific objectives. Okay, so it's been a long time. It's been a whole year. It's been a whole year since scientists, started to question if the virus is airborne or not. Now, if you have political will, then they would pressure institutions, research institutes to come up with proper data to either debunk or support that the virus is airborne. But after a whole year, WHO finally, okay, this is from Forbes, but you get news from elsewhere, saying the same thing. Okay, that after so long, they decide to admit that it's airborne. Okay, so look at that. In July, 239 scientists signed an open letter appealing to the medical community governing bodies. Okay, to say what? Come on, you recognize the potential risk of airborne transmission. Okay, and okay, so 我嘅意思係講，你睇7月239個科學家簽一個信啊，俾嗰個政治人物嚟講乜嘢？小心咧，你要決定呢個係咪點樣講？Alice 你講乜嘢
空氣可以傳播咯。
空氣傳播 ，OK。如果你一講到空氣傳播咧，我哋又寫咗我哋嘅拜天公嘅 COVID 嘅 SOP， 咧我哋講開晒嗰啲鏡，我唔知你哋點樣啦，我哋有冇做冇做啦，so 我哋要真係要跟翻我哋嘅拜天公嘅 SOP， 因為咧我哋嘅責任咧係俾翻我哋嘅兄弟姊妹啊。So the responsibility, the ultimate responsibility for your health with regards to COVID is yourself. Of course, you hold the ultimate responsibility, but what comes after that, or who comes after that, that would be, in terms of our spiritual movement, in the context of our spiritual movement, then the Council of Elders and ACC. And then, of course, the Council of Elders and ACC would have to now institute, stricter measures, right? And guess what? We, on the Monday COVID discussion, now Tuesday, okay, welcome to Tuesday, first Tuesday COVID discussion. We, on the COVID discussion group, as part of the Council discussion group, have decided to take proactive action to institute SOPs for BUSM to say that, look, it is airborne. We take it that it is airborne. Now, if science turn around and say it is not airborne, then well and good, and we are safer. As it turns out, we were right. However, I am not sure. I'm not in KL. Okay, I don't know the people who run the discussion in our KL Holy Hall. I don't know if they do follow our Fighting Gong SOP. I don't know. I don't even know if they ever bother reading. So we put it up as a recommendation. I sincerely hope that they take note. Okay, so 我哋有1年前未到7月呢個係7月嗰個科學家簽嗰個信未到未到7月咧舊年咧我哋都喺我哋嘅呢個討論如果你記得我哋講咗我哋嘅 SOP 要透空我哋要空氣我哋要小心So 過開1年WHO 咧係一個政治嘅運動嚟嘅So WHO 咧正話講愛講係啦呢個係有 airborne 經過空氣 So 呢個係好重要嘅學習我唔知其他地方你會學到啦喺拜天公咧你學乜嘢咧？你學政治你要學政治咧，有政治嘅目的，唔係會 政治咧會跟住神聖啊，政治會跟住科學啊，政治會有政治嘅目的。所以你聽政治人物講咧，唔係講佢哋啱或者錯，我係意思講佢哋係有佢哋嘅目標啊，政治嘅目標。所以最重要嘅係我哋自己識得要保護我哋自己，唔係靠人哋登報紙啊，政治人物講乜嘢，我哋正嚟跟啊，我哋要了解呢個係我哋嘅拜天公嘅兄弟姊妹嘅安全啊，唔係任何人嘅安全啊。開始我哋嘅拜天公嘅兄弟姊妹都係咁少咗，OK， 所以我哋要好小心。OK， 講到咁多，我係actually 我仲有少少講關於 you know I have some statistics. Look at Malaysia. Okay. Let's look at Malaysia in terms of vaccination rate. Okay, or currently how many percentage of vaccinations by country. For every 100 people, 100 for every 100, okay, in the world, 19, okay. Now total close to 1.5 billion of the population have been vaccinated. At least 直頭幫我翻譯啊，而家。
19係咩嘅？19
即是講打疫苗嘅跟翻全世界咧，19個咧有打咗喺100個人嘅入邊啦。
100個入邊有19個打咗疫苗啊？
喺全世界啦，全世界有打咗1.475 billion 啊，明白冇？所以即是講有100個人 ，OK 喺全世界咧100個人咧入邊100個人咧有19個打咗嗰個疫苗，明白冇
？OK。
所以你可以講多一次，我繼續。
你講咗嘛？即係呢個喺全世界100個人入邊係19個人打咗疫苗咯。
OK 啊 ，then I carry on at least I carry on. So now you compare the top country is Seychelles, then you go down UAE, Israel. Okay, then you go further down, you can see that Malta, United States, Hungary, and I keep scrolling. Singapore is somewhere down here. After Iceland, Singapore is 56 per 100. Okay, 56 per 100. That means close to half the population. Okay, 56 per 100. Yeah, so more than half per 100 person. You got 56. That means more than half. Okay, and then as you carry on, okay, at least so.
新加坡係超過一半嘅人係已經接種咗疫苗嘅咯。
so 56個喺100個入邊。OK， 咁你落到 Malaysia 喺邊度 ？OK， 你睇到 Malaysia 嗌我停。中國係29個。OK， 100個人入邊你有29個。So in China you got 29 out of 100 who have been vaccinated. And as we carry on, where is Malaysia? Where are you? Indonesia, 8.4 person per 100. Malaysia, where are you? Oh, there you go, Malaysia. Okay, so Indonesia 你有8個人，100個人入邊8個人you know 打咗疫苗。Malaysia 係6個人啊，100個人入邊咧6個人，或者而家增加咗啦，呢個係有遲少少嘅呢個學數。So in Malaysia, 6 out of 100. Now the question is, if you follow this rate of vaccination, you follow this rate. Malaysia started vaccination, Malaysia started vaccination when? Okay, Malaysia began inoculation, okay, when? 19 April. Okay, 19 April. That means you close to 1 month. So it's a good time for us today to take stock about Malaysia, you know. So Malaysia, if it takes, if you take, okay, very simple math, you can ignore the percentage. I'm not sure how they work out the percentage, but this is easy. You got 6 out of 100 for 1 month, right? 6 out of 100 for 1 month. So, okay, how do you look at this? So Malaysia, okay, 6 out of 100 for 1 month, right? So now what's the in order to reach 100, that means 6% for 1 month. So 100, okay, divide 6, you need how many months to clear up? 17 months. So I take away 1, so call it 16 months. 16 months from now, that means a year, call it a year and 4 months, right? A year and 4 months. So a year and 4 months from now would be 2022 May plus 4, 2022 September. Okay, 2022. Now they say if you need herd immunity, you need 75% of the population vaccinated. Okay, so 即是講如果有6%先即是講喺100個人入邊咧，你有6個。OK， 而家馬來西亞，所以而家我哋過咗1個月嘛。OK， 19號4月有報告佢哋開始Malaysia 開始打個疫苗啊。所以幾時咧會搞掂咧？喺9月，係呢個係100%先啦。如果講到仲要個號數咧係75%啊，又打咗疫苗咧，正你有herd immunity 係點樣講咧？你有效力啦，講容易講啦，有效力啦。所以即是講如果你唔到呢個號數咧，75%咧，你仲會發作咯，好似而家咁樣咯，最高嘅，今日破紀錄啊，今日 at least。Okay, so basically we need to reach a herd. So to reach herd immunity, we need to get to 75% in Malaysia, which means we are looking at maybe the first half of 2022. Okay, 差唔多6月一半啊，早一半下一半唔係前一半2022啦，譬如講3月啊，2023月4月咁樣咧，有可能咧我哋到75%。So at 75%, what's going to happen? We expect life to be better. Why? Then, if there is herd immunity, you would expect that the hospital beds would not be filled up so soon. Okay. So 即係講，如果有呢個herd immunity 啊，即係講一班有
集體免疫啊，
如果有呢個集體免疫咧 ，then 我哋嘅生活咧會變翻普通啦，你唔使驚發作啊，咁多人啊，4000啊 ，you know. Now is that true? After so long that we have discussed, I'm going to ask, okay, 係咪咁樣嘅事？會唔會咁樣 ？At least 咧，我哋討論咗咁多啦，關於呢個 COVID 啦，跟翻你嘅知識啦，關於呢個關於呢個病毒啊，我哋會得唔得到呢個75%先？得或者唔得？
頭先我啱啱講我漏咗個新聞就係呢個嚟嘅，所以有一個專家醫學專家啦，唔知邊個啦，係講根據而家咁樣嘅進度係咪？明年咧係唔可能達到呢個集體免疫目標， 可能需要5年啊，係講。
啊，點解？嚇
嘅供應
有咩？
嗰啲各方面咯，供應啊。
So Brother Raymond 有冇咩？So just now Sister Alice mentioned that we, according to her news source, we would only get herd immunity in 5 years from now. Now my question is why? What are the factors? After all our discussion, I hope that many of us understand why. Okay, this is one of the reasons. One of the reasons is the rate, okay, the rate of vaccination. Now this rate is the optimum rate. We hope that we have 6 out of 100 every month. That's one. 2, the efficacy. The efficacy of the how you say vaccine, the efficacy of the vaccine varies according to the variant, right? So now let's say if there is a mutation, there are more mutations. Currently, last week, what did we say? What was the total mutated number? Close to 6,000 variants now. So 6,000 types, variants of the COVID virus. So at least 我哋有而家變種啊，有6000個變種啊。而家呢個打個疫苗咧 ，efficacy 即係講有效力咧係幾高，效力咧真係好低啊，因為咧有好多新嘅，有好多新嘅變種好快啊。So what is the bottom line? How do you translate this to how does it affect us? OK， 呢個點樣嚟點樣講？
影響我哋
點樣影響我哋咧？即是講我哋要準備啦。OK， 我舊年一開始，我哋係呢個討論咧係嚟準備咧，我哋嘅兄弟姊妹咧嚟點樣講？面對到呢個長期㗎，我哋舊年咧到而家咧都係傾緊，我哋要乜嘢適應能力。So from last year to now, we have been telling everybody the implication of the virus is what is the new normal? The new normal is if things are not going back to normal, it may get a lot worse before it gets better. And because of that, we should be prepared for the worst case scenario, which means we were discussing the topic of resilience, psychological resilience, financial resilience, and resilience in terms of how you protect yourself health-wise, from COVID and to remain healthy. So we went through this entire gamut of how you say topics throughout the year, last year, all the way till even now, as late as last week. What were we discussing? We were telling everybody that, hey, look out for variants. Now the news of the last few days is, yes, 5 years for everybody to be vaccinated, and yet he's saying that the expert is saying that you expect to get a herd immunity in 5 years. Okay, so I don't know, you just be careful then. Okay, so back to Sister Alice for today's topic.
Thank you, Brother King。而家接落嚟係咪？我哋係討論關於呢個 Micheal Newton 呢本書《靈魂之旅》。今日係講關於第12章啊。Sister Modi 同平姐請你哋分享。Thank you。
Okay， so 邊個拎頭一 part 啊？係 Sister Modi 係咪？
係咯，1到7。
OK， 你有highlight 嗰個本書，或者你直頭咁樣講出嚟？
我有 highlight 一啲啦。我睇你可以擠你嗰個英文，你 highlight 嗰啲。 低英文嘅。
OK。
其實好多嘢我都唔知係講邊度。
OK， 冇所謂，等跟住我英文嘅 highlight 㗎啦嚇。OK， fine。So
我係想講啦，其實我係講嗰啲靈魂啊，係嗰啲球面咁樣，係咪經過一個人生，佢哋翻去嗰個靈魂嘅世界啦？呢個靈魂嘅世界，就我覺得係咪我諗嚟諗去啦，唔知係咪好有啲似靈界咁樣咯喎？因為佢哋翻到去咧，佢哋就好似你去做工翻屋企覺得好攰啊，佢哋都喺靈界咧就好似好安詳啊，嗰啲人啊，好相處到好好嘅，好有愛心嗰啲，所以嗰啲靈魂有啲都唔想翻去球面嗰度再投胎。但係咧，佢哋有嗰個向導嘛，嗰個向導咧都會鼓勵佢哋翻去地球嗰度投胎嘅咯。因為佢哋愛做翻人啊，佢哋先至可以進步啊。就好似你唔中意去書館咯，書館又要考試，我真係好攰嘅咯。我精神壓力好大啊，又好競爭啊。所以你翻靈界啊，好似就翻屋企食飯，瞓覺又補充翻你嗰啲力量，我又再翻書館咯。你唔去書館咯，你唔讀小學、中學、大學你就冇得畢業咯，你就要一直投胎咯。所以你要畢業咗唔使再投胎咧，你就要去書館。所以你好唔想翻去投胎都好，嗰個向導就好似你嘅父母咁樣啦，會講啲嘢嚟鼓勵你咯，俾你又再有士氣啊，再翻去後面投胎咯。咁樣等到你會好似恢復翻嗰啲精神啊，又做好似 positive 咗，你就會去一個地方嗰度，你會幫好似你嘅向導講，OK， 我依家準備好咗，我又要再投胎咯。佢就會帶你去，唔知係帶你去或者你自己去啦，去一個地方，咁樣去到嗰個地方，你可以好似可以睇到你嘅未來嘅喎，你又可以選擇你愛投胎嗰個地方。你選擇咗嗰個地方喎，嗰個地方好似你嘅文化或者會發生嘅事件啊，都唔同㗎咯。你可以選擇咗嗰個地方，跟住你就可以睇到入邊有咩人或者角色你可以做㗎咯。即是你可以選擇去投胎做邊一個肉體咁樣嘅喎。所以或者別經依家我哋睇翻你 highlight 嗰啲咯，你有咩可以講冇？so far 呢度，或者你可以補充，你講呢啲你 highlight 嘅冇
？Yeah. So brothers and sisters, we are now at chapter 12. If you just join us, I have mentioned the method of which we go through a book review as taught to me by Sensor. I'm pretty sure he may, I may not be sure, but I'm certain that if whatever Sensor told me in private, as in teach me how to read a book, I'm certain that he would have done the same thing to other people, if not in a discussion group, right? So this is how it works. Not everything, we cannot be that gullible to accept everything that everybody says, okay? But there are some things that some people say that make sense. There are some things that some people say that are more accurate than others. So in this book, by Michael Newton, the number of instances whereby he corroborated what we knew since 1976 is very, very high. But are there things that we disagree with? You know, or we say that, well, maybe, you know, it's not plausible, maybe it's plausible, maybe it's possible, you know, it's probable. So which is which, and how does it work? Well, you know, we have three outcomes, or let's put it as three outcomes. One is total match. Okay, that means there are information in this book that we say this matches exactly with what we know in Pai Ting Kong. Okay, there are some information which is category A, total match. Category B, maybe, you know, it is not told by Sanson, but we cannot reject it outright. We just leave it as maybe. Does it make a difference? No, not really, you know, yes, no. It doesn't make a big difference, you know. But there are some information which we can pick to say that with a high degree of disagreement, you know, we can pick and say that, oh, we disagree, you know, with the author, you know, with a high degree of certainty, you know. This would be one of those chapters that you may want to disagree. But in any case, okay, in any case, what we want to do is read with an open mind. Okay, number one. Two, do not be gullible as to, you know, accept everything as wholesale truth. Okay, and to evaluate what people have to say. Okay, so first category, total match, you know, spot on. Second category, plausible, probable, you know. The third category, okay, please, by all means, disagree, you know, if you have to. Now, here in this case, I wrote a note here to say that it is interesting, just like the problem with the prayer song. Okay, what's the problem with the prayer song? The problem with prayer song was a lot of brothers and sisters were working off a tape, for example, and working off how you say their previous memory, the memory of what they heard. So some brothers and sisters would have heard about, oh, there are drums, and everybody, a lot of people got fixated with drums, and there were no tapes to say that there were other musical instruments. Okay, so similarly, this book was reviewed by Sanson in 96, 97, 90, call it 97, 98, call it 1998, okay? Perhaps 90, yeah, 97, 98. The problem is we don't have those tapes, you know. This is one of the gaps that we have in our records. So a whole bunch of tapes were removed by Akian from Peng Zhe's house because Gary or someone allowed him. That was our backup set, by the way. So our backup set of Sanson's tapes were removed by Akian. You know, someone let Akian into the house to take away those tapes. And so we have a gap. We don't have the tapes of which Sanson reviewed this book. Okay, Sanson reviewed this book. And so after reviewing the book, one of the bone of contention, one of the primary bone of contention that Sanson brings up to us is that, okay, we don't have a choice. You know, if, you know, the logic behind this is if everybody has a choice, don't you think that they would pick the best life they can to reincarnate? Okay, so now this is based on what Sanson mentioned, exactly what Sanson said, exactly what was the statement mean. Okay, we cannot be sure. We cannot be sure. So what we have now is very interesting. This is the same problem with the prayer song. We have to now rely on our logic. We have to rely on our logic and work our way through without Sanson giving us specific instructions. Okay, that's the point here. Okay, now that I've spoken so long in English, maybe I can translate to Cantonese. Okay, now is that possible or not? Let me try to recap. Okay, 呢個帶Sanson 有呢個書咧，呢本書咧，Sanson 有點樣講？review 有讀過出嚟嘅 ，and then Sanson 教我哋讀一本書咧 ，you know， 我唔知啦，兄弟姊妹 ，you know Sanson 有冇教你點樣讀一本書嚟做一個 ，you know， but confirm 係有做一個點樣講榜樣啦，做一個榜樣俾其他兄弟姊妹，你點樣嚟讀一本書嘛？哦，所以喺一本書入邊咧，你有3段啊，一段係講乜嘢？哇！呢個絕對跟住拜天公嘅，因為 you know 配合嘛。所以點解我哋拎呢本書嚟點樣講做一個 review 咧？嚟做一個分享咧，係因為呢本書咧有好多嗰啲接近拜天公㗎嘛。所以即是講頭一 part 咧，即是講有一部分啊，我哋講係 A 班啊，呢個 A 班咧嘅資料咧係直頭配合拜天公嘅 ，and then B 班嘅資料咧係OK 咯 ，Sanson 又冇講過，你講我 OK 啦，唔係講反拜天公啦，你講我哋講或者咯 ，OK 咯，或者咯，唔係講好重要，有咁樣 OK 咯，冇咁樣都冇咩，對我哋冇一個分別 ，OK。然後 C 班咧 ，C 班嘅資料咧喺you know 喺一本書咧，如果呢本書絕對反拜天公嘅點樣講拜天公嘅知識咧 ，then 我哋就講呢個係咁樣嘅資料啦，你要識得嚟分析啦。所以呢個咁樣嘅方式咧，拎呢個一本書嚟點樣講分享咧，嚟做一個參考咧，係幫到我哋識得點樣做一個分析咯。所以唔係講我哋拜天公咧，唔係好似嗰個乜嘢，有啲教咧，有啲以前嗰啲基督教啦，而家我唔知啦。以前咧基督教咧，佢睇到咩書對冇跟住佢哋講咁樣嘅咧，佢就拎晒嗰啲全部書拎嚟燒晒佢。OK。唔愛俾你知，乜嘢都唔得，所以拜天公又唔係咁樣喎。拜天公咧係我哋拎晒有乜嘢資料咧，你可以讀。我哋冇講你唔准讀呢本，唔准讀呢本，做咩 censorship 啊？所以拜天公咧係你要識得拎嚟分析啊，用邏輯嘅思想、靈感嘅分析嚟分析。而家講到咁樣咧，我就好記得呢個咧一模一樣咧，好似我哋嘅唱拜天公經文歌嘅問題啊，問題係乜嘢？我哋咧冇嗰個帶冇一個帶Sanson嘅帶嚟做參考。而家咧呢本書咧原本係有嗰個記錄嘅帶嚟做參考嘅，不過咧呢個帶咧係俾阿健我哋有 backup 即係講咩第二份嘅係咪？就喺平姐屋企嘅係咪？不過佢哋拎走咗，咁啱拎走咗呢一份98年嘅或者99年咁懵㗎啦，98年嘅。所以我意思係講睇到呢一段咧，我記得係咯，我哋需要乜嘢咯？我哋需要呢個成本書同埋嗰個 第二本嘅書，係啲咩？用我哋嘅邏輯嘅思想、靈感嘅分析嚟做一個分析啊！我哋唔係靠自身身嘅帶嚟做一個分析啊，或者會有可能過開呢個，或者過開幾年咧，我哋可以拎翻嗰個帶咧，我哋可以拎嚟做參考講，哦，新講乜嘢，我哋講乜嘢，我哋咧需要識得點樣嚟用我哋嘅邏輯嘅思想、靈感嘅分析嚟做一個獨立人啊。If you want to be independent, you want to, how you say? Let's put it this way. You complete school. How do you complete school? You learn about 拜天公. Now, after you complete school, then you finish school, then you would lead life on your own, independent. How can you be independent? Well, census tapes are good. There's no doubt about it. However, you must be able to stand on your own 2 feet and make evaluations, okay, without every single specific instructions from Session. This is not what 拜天公 is. Okay, 拜天公 is for you to be able to function as a human being, how you say, with your analytical mind and logical thinking. Okay, having said that, 對唔住啊，你哋各位兄弟姊妹，你哋有聽過呢個嘅，不過咧今日我睇到有英文嘅，同埋有其他新嘅兄弟姊妹襯我哋，所以我要重複下少少關於點樣我哋讀呢本書嘅。Okay, so this is about life selection. The title itself, some people would be offended and say, hey, how can you select life? Now, let's have a read, okay? Let's have a read. They say, oh, okay. So some people in 拜天公will say, no, this is bullshit, How can you select life? Okay, well, let's have a read and find out what's happening. Let's keep an open mind. Okay, so 你一睇到嗰個點樣講名咧？life selection 係叫咩？揀你嘅生活啊！哇！拜天公講你冇得揀你嘅生活嘅，先生都講過嘛，因為先生讀過呢個書嘛，所以先生讀過呢個書，佢嘅正式嘅反應咧係乜嘢咧？我哋冇個底 ，OK 冇相干，但我哋都係好大可能啊，我哋都係唔接受講你有得中意揀你嘅生活 ，OK， 但我哋都係 keep an open mind，how do you say？ 通開啊！ At least can you be ready to someone be ready to translate? Keep an open mind,
開通嘅思想啦，應該。
你保護下少少你嘅開通嘅思想，或者我哋讀字落 ，OK？ 嗰唔使冇得讀晒全部啦，我盡快讀晒，讀呢個跳下。So 頭先 Sister 我啲又讀下幾個，不過咧，佢嘅目的目的係乜嘢？有幾個，呢個係準備，你可以改變呢個題目咧，係未你第11集啊、第10集啊、第9集啊，係全部有講過。我哋咧去到嗰個點樣講神聖嘅界線咧，係好似一個學堂嚟嘅，學嘢、學習。而家咧到時咧。就嚟開始翻去做人 ，OK？ 所以呢個咧第12集咧係講未翻去做人啊，有乜嘢準備啊？所以嗰個題目都係有少少題目咧呢個題目咧上邊咧係嗰個人寫書緊噶嘛，OK？ 所以有3個重點。我而家準備冇 ，OK？ 我準備冇愛翻去嗰個一個生活 ，OK？ 有乜嘢咪我要我喺呢個翻呢個生活咧，我要學到乜嘢？即是講我有乜嘢弱點啊？我要嚟搞掂啊！我有咩要搞掂啊？喺呢個生活入邊咧，新嘅生活咧，我愛 有咩要搞掂啊？我要學習乜嘢？我要集中我學習乜嘢？我需要發展乜嘢 ？And then 我要去邊度 ？And then 我要做點樣嘅人啊？我真係做乜嘢人啦？喺我嘅我嘅新嘅生活咧，我做乜嘢人咯？點解咧？我要最好嘅機會咧嚟達到我嘅目標。所以嘅三個大嘅畫面啊，關於呢個成個第12集啦。OK， 佢有講呢個輪迴咧，係講跟住你需要㗎，即係講你嘅靈魂嘅目標啊，呢個輪迴咧係跟住你嘅靈魂嘅目標啊。簡短嚟講啦，如果上一次咧我係一個貪嘅人咧，呢一次咧我都會面對嗰個考試啊，關於貪嘅人啊，呢個咧有少少you know I can okay let's go back. There are 3 main topics with regards to reincarnation and preparing for the new life. So, am I ready for a new physical life? What specific lessons do I want to undertake to advance my learning and development? Where should I go? Who should I be in my next life for the best opportunity to work on my goals? Right? So, pretty straightforward. These are the 2 main objectives. Now, as we go on, they are simply saying that these cycles of incarnation of the souls are driven by the needs of the soul. Okay, but rather than the urgency of host bodies. What they are saying is that there could be X number of bodies, you know. So this whole page is talking about the number of people on earth versus the number of souls available, or the number of souls versus the number of people available. So it doesn't matter. In short, let me try to summarize this whole page. Is basically it does not matter. It does not matter if the number of new host bodies and the number of souls do not match up. If in any case the number of the number of host bodies, like basically the organic growth of a population, you know, exceed the number of souls available, guess what? They will produce new souls. New souls will be produced to occupy new bodies. Okay, so that's not a problem. Now, here's one interesting part. It says that, okay, I need to switch back to Cantonese. So 呢個成個面啊，兩面啊係講緊乜嘢？係解釋緊嗰啲人咧。毫數咧喺嗰個球面咧，同埋嗰啲靈魂嘅毫數咧，唔需要配合嘅，唔需要配合。如果人啊多過靈魂啊，自然咧嗰個靈魂咧會加落去咯。即係講人加人，所以即係講嗰個靈魂咧自然都可以加落去咯。不過咧，睇翻呢個幾樣重點咧，呢個有我唔知你記得冇啦，上幾集咧係有講過，有啲靈魂咧係有分開2個肉體啊，有啲靈魂咧分開2個肉體啊，即是講，而今日我投胎啦，我入咗必經，我會喺多一個身體咧，或者喺中國都係多一個靈魂，都係我嚟嘅。有可能冇我唔知，先生冇講過，重要唔重要？我覺得唔重要咯。所以呢個係我或者放喺 category B 咯，我放喺 category C 得冇都可以啦。你冇都唔有少少有邏輯冇 OK 啦，你可以解釋啦。所以重要唔重要？我覺得我唔重要咯。而人哋講有咁樣嘅事，我唔會幫佢拗咯，我又唔會幫佢講我好贊成咯。 ，so 呢個其中一個方式啊，嚟讀一本書咧，你唔需要嚟幫人哋頂頸，你又唔需要幫人哋贊成，你又講 OK 啦，OK interesting，so what I'm trying to say is this part of information that there are souls who occupy more than one body at a time. Do we want to agree? Okay. Do you want to disagree? Yeah. It doesn't bother me at all. Do you want to pick a fight over a line like this? No, there's no need to pick a fight. This is his opinion. This is from his research. So be it. Okay. But from what we know in Bai Ting Kong, Sanson have not mentioned this. Perhaps, if we were to find the tape, we would know whether Sanson agree or disagree. I don't know. Did Sanson go through this book with a fine-tooth comb? I don't know. But what we know is when there are disagreements with a particular point, of course, Sanson will bring it up. Okay. The rest, we leave it in limbo. You can put it in category B or C. It's definitely not category A. Okay. So we carry on. Okay, so 呢個 Michael Newton 咧講嗰個靈魂咧有自由嚟揀啊，幾時喺邊度同埋邊個係要做啊？喺呢個咩 physical 啦，如果咩做球面嘅人啊，有啲靈魂咧用好少時間咧喺嗰個神聖嘅界線，因為咧佢要專登咧愛發展啊，然後有啲咧好難啊愛離開嗰個神聖嘅界線，所以即是講氣有講減短啊，佢哋咧就有嗰個顧問咯，你哋用呢個上邊下邊啊係用嗰個兩個字啊 ，elder 同埋 counselor。呢個兩個字眼咧 ，elder 同埋 counselor 啊，其中一個理由啊，我唔知你記得冇？其中有一個理由咧，我揀呢本書咧俾先生讀，我講，先生呢個人啊講有 elder 有 counselor， 好一模一樣，我哋拜天公喎，so the one of the reason I chose this book for Senson's book review is because this Michael Newton mentioned, the existence of elders and counselors, and so back to this, when they are reluctant to leave, then they are given a push. Some of us have to be given a push when they think they are ready again. Well, we'll see. Let's read on. So what I'm saying is perhaps, okay, the souls are given the impression. Okay, this is the answer that I have with regards to category C problems that we have. Okay, perhaps the souls are given the impression that they are given the freedom to choose. This is my notes. So what I'm saying is that, well, really, do they have the capacity to choose, to say no? If I would say to a high degree to say that no, they don't have a chance to say no. Well, perhaps they can say no once, twice, but you must understand, you must try to understand that in the spiritual world, time may not be a component. Okay, or time as a component is very long. It can be very short. A long time in the spiritual world can mean a very short time on earth time. That means to say, I'm trying to confuse everybody. That means to say that if you were to spend a long time in the spiritual world to think, it doesn't mean a long time has passed. Okay. And the souls are given the impression that they are given the freedom to choose. But in actual fact, the entire purpose of reincarnation, the soul is to become a better person, a better soul. And so it's inevitable that they have to go. As the case would show you at a later part of the book. So 咁點嚟講係有可能有可能好多嗰啲靈魂咧，佢哋有呢個印象收到呢個印象咧，或者佢有嗰個機會嚟揀啊。你要記得開始讀呢本書咧，我有解釋過，好多嗰啲靈魂咧，俾呢個醫生嚟催眠咧，嚟拎呢個資料出嚟咧，佢都係有限制啊，係有限制關於嗰個資料佢俾嗰個醫生嘅，所以有好大可能呢個靈魂咧係俾咗一個印象咧，佢有得揀。正式啦，正式不過咧，正式咧係有得揀或者冇得揀咧，喺我哋嘅拜天公嘅了解咧係冇得揀。所以如果冇得揀 ，OK， 如果冇得揀 ，then 點解呢本有咁樣報告咧？then 你要讀落去，你要讀落去 ，OK， 你要讀落去 ，OK。Now it gets this, this is like getting dicier, right? So what happened to Mark? They were talking about Mark, okay, another one of the soul who didn't want to go back, and then after some more indoctrination, indoctrination. Now what's indoctrination, Alice? So if you can help me find the translation for indoctrination, at least. So Mark realized that he had been wrong about Mark has been wrong about his abilities and finally went back to Earth. Indoctrination, the doctor says. Indoctrination, this make me think of coercion. What's the meaning of coercion? What is the meaning of indoctrination in English, just in case you all don't know? That means it is indoctrination is saying 1 + 1 is 2, is like learning the times table. You please learn the times table, learn it by heart and do it. So basically indoctrination is 1 is 1, 2 is 2, 3 is 3. You just do it. So Dr. Michael Newton thinks that what indoctrination, this makes me think of coercion. Coercion is like you are being forced to do something. Okay, you're being forced to do something. So now, if you were to read what's on top, then you say, they get to choose. Even the doctor himself thinks that they are being forced to reincarnate. Okay, so 翻譯咧喺 Alice indoctrination 係咩咗？
灌輸。
灌輸係咩意思咧？你了解咧？講普通嘅
好似頭先你講嗰個經文歌咁樣啦，咪叫灌輸咯。
經文歌係灌輸。
頭先你講個經文歌啊，一開始嘅時候嗰啲咪叫灌輸啦。跟住又喺拉尾呢個係講強迫咯。咁點樣讀啊？英文
coercion 強迫
強迫呢個我睇咗翻譯咗嘅。
OK， 我講多次關於呢個灌輸啦，冇想過我講嗰啲灌輸。I think at least 你 indoctrination about 經文歌there was no indoctrination about what I mentioned earlier. Not sure whether there was some misunderstanding. But okay, let's look at indoctrination 即係講呢個灌輸咧係好似逼住你背熟一樣嘢，我冇得俾你考慮㗎，即係講冇得講你可以揀一，我嗌你揀二你就揀二，你冇得揀三，即係講個醫生就講即係講呢個係逼住㗎。你睇下上邊係講你有自由，不過咧嗰個靈魂自己講，所以你過後咧嗰個靈魂又褪翻頭喎，唔係咁樣，不過你要了解 ，OK？ 呢啲靈魂咧喺嗰個催眠入邊咧，有啲嘢真係冇得俾佢講，有啲嘢係可以講， 有啲嘢有限制，所以如果呢個係逼字嘅咧，即是講係跟住我哋嘅拜天公嘅信仰咯，係咪？拜天公嘅信仰講咩？無論點你都係要投胎噶啦。點解咧？你未畢業嘛？你畢業咗咧，你就唔需要投胎。你未畢業咧，你要投胎。呢個咁樣嘅意思啦。即是講呢個咧就配合，上邊咧又唔配合啊！你要了解，有啲配合，有啲唔配合。所以呢個咧我跟住 A 咯，呢個可以講 OK， 呢個係 A category A， 呢個係 A 班嘅資料。有啲咧係 B 班嘅資料，有啲係 C 班嘅資料。頭先我解釋啊，你讀一本書，你要點樣嚟分析 ？OK。你又褪頭去講我覺得你可以留低咯，你唔需要投胎咯。喺呢個講嘛 ，so it says so the S is who or what's his name? I cannot recall who is S, but the patient, okay, S is the patient. Then the patient says, if you see Dr. Newton is if the guys don't force you, could a soul absolutely refuse to be reborn? Now, the doctor asked this question to a fairly low ranking soul, not advanced soul. This is like a soul that is new. That's why they are asking about, okay, they are asking about what does the soul know about the spiritual world? Okay, what does the soul know about the spiritual world? So there is a limitation of which what the soul knows. So 你有限制咯，呢個靈魂咧係嗰啲低級嘅靈魂咧，係有限制，所以講我 I guess 點樣講咧？猜啊，我猜下啦。如果你真係唔愛投胎，你唔需要咯。不過你要了解呢個係嗰個靈魂嘅答案，夾埋咧呢個靈魂嘅答案咧，呢個靈魂咧都係投胎緊。佢都唔知頭唔知尾，因為佢唔係嗰個高級嘅點樣講靈魂。如果你真係高級，你都唔需要你如果你畢業咗，你都唔需要翻嚟啦，係咪？所以而家係講緊嗰啲初級嘅靈魂咧，係咪需要嚟投胎 ？OK， 我哋嘅角度係要，所以呢個咧都係俾你穿咗嗰個氣嘅先頭嘅呢個the 佢嘅 the title 啦 in Chinese 係叫咩？生活嘅選擇啊？係。生活嘅選擇。所以呢個咧係講有得生活選擇係咪？ But actually 正式你唔氣得自己都冇咁肯定啊，氣得冇咁肯定啊，可以或者唔可以。不過咧，我哋拜天公講咩？冇得選擇啦，你都係需要投胎噶啦 ，OK， 需要投胎嘅 ，OK， 快脆講咯 ，OK， so 去到一個地方啦，有好多嗰啲人哋安排啦，人哋安排俾你睇翻嗰個生活嘅有乜嘢咩未來㗎意思？
係未來嘅可能，
未來嘅可能啦，未來嘅可能啦，so they are in over here. Basically, they go to a place, according to what the interview, they go to a place where they get to see the future. And what's the purpose? What's the purpose of this? Okay, now let me try to digress a bit and show you. Future. Okay. So this is fairly important for you to realize. Okay. So 各位兄弟姊妹，快脆啊！我先揀一個名啊，準備啊，開你嘅麥啊。brother, sister, sister Maggie， 我想問你係咪is there something as is there such thing as destiny? Okay, so what is destiny? 翻譯 Is there such thing as destiny? 等陣先啊，我明白。So at least 幫我翻譯 destiny 係叫咩 ？Fate destiny
命運啊，
將來啊，命運，拜天公有冇命運嘅？即係講你，我命運係咁樣啦，我就冇得選擇啦，我就係就咁樣咯，我點樣嚟選擇？拜天公係咪咁樣嘅？或者拜天公講你嘅將來係你砌造出嚟嘅？
我嘅將來係我自己選擇噶嘛。
OK，thank you， 多謝。OK，so 就係你有選擇咧，你生出嚟咧，你睇你選擇行左，你咪行呢個黑嘅線啦。不過係啱係行右喎，你行右咧，佢仲有得唔同嘅選擇去行左行右，行左行右，行左行右。係啫，到而家咧個生活喺呢個中間啦。喺呢個中間啊，所以你將來咧，你係咪呢個咁多青嘅路啊？你係你揀嘅，啱唔啱 ，Sister Maggie？
係啊。
所以你明白呢個後邊嘅咧係個黑色嘅，你冇揀到呢個路嘅。你嘅前邊嘅咧，你嘅將來咧，你有好多唔同嘅路俾你行嘅，係你嘅自己嘅選擇，啱冇？所以你明白點樣睇呢個畫畫係咪 ？Okay, so brothers and sisters, I need to show you that there is no such thing as fate. Okay, now destiny is arguable. I can go into this for a whole day, but I would like to present this to you. Okay, the past, you can see that you have choices that you can make. The choices you make will now bring you along this green path, which it did. Okay, if you look back in your life, you make certain choices in your life and it took you on this green path. But moving forward from your life today, can you take any one of these paths going ahead? The answer is yes. That is what we know. That is why in Pai Ting Gong we say life is what we make it to be. And we always say that nothing is impossible. So back to Michael Newton. So what's up with Michael Newton with regards to the ring? Okay, now if you have read this part of this book or this chapter, this part kept going and going and going and going. It is telling everybody that they see their life, their possible options, their life, what are the major turning points in life pathways involving major decisions, 呢個第二 part 咧，嗰個第12集嘅後邊咧係講你有好多選擇啊！你去到一個地方，你可以睇到好多選擇啊！如果你唔識慢慢嚟讀下，你唔會捉到個意思啊！不過咧，我係好希望有呢個咧可以俾你睇到捉到咩意思，係俾你睇你有咁多唔同嘅路行啊 ！OK， 係一個生活啊！不過咧，哇呢個係 A, category A. So remember I mentioned you got category A information that matches up completely, matches what we know. Okay. This basically, life is conditional and it is a test. Life is conditional and it is created to test us. We have to be tested. Okay, we have to be tested. Now, I mean, I don't think I can finish this in 8 minutes and explain everything, but in short, I just like to highlight this portion here. I go fast forward. Oh, there. We are the masters of our destiny. Okay, 即係講將at least we are the masters of our destiny.
我哋係我哋生命嘅主宰。
Okay, thank you. Okay, then我直頭落一個比喻啦。Example, and example is the easiest way to explain this whole thing, Okay, so Michael Newton now says, let me be more blunt. If you are supposed to select a life from only the selections shown, to you in the ring, how would you know that the coordinators aren't stacking the decks against you? Basically, what Dr. Micheal Newton is trying to find out is, do they actually have a choice? You see, again, 多一次啊，呢個 Micheal Newton 啊，仲係問你真係有得選擇冇？佢嘅意思係講，你聽到咁多咁長嘅故事啊，係講你係咪真係有得選擇？你講我嘅意見啊，佢嘅意見係講，係啊，有得選擇啊，有得選擇啊，呢個係乜嘢？呢個係佢嘅點樣講？佢嘅意見啊。OK， but 你可以睇到 Micheal Newton 咧，佢聽到咁多漫畫到咁長咧，佢嘅睇法仲係好似你冇得選擇咧，好似你冇得選擇咧。你係睇到咁多咧，點解佢哋要睇咁多嘢啊？點解佢哋睇未來嘅嘢？點解佢需要睇啊？點解咧 ？OK， 我有兩個理由啦嚇。我落去睇嗰個點樣講？嗰個點樣講？比喻啊，嗰個 example 係叫咩咧？
比喻咯，例子，
俾個例子。不過咧，你睇 Council of Elders，my gosh，they keep this word keep coming up。長老顧問啊，長老 Council 係叫咩？
長老委員會。
委員會啊，長老委員會。And then 你揀一個身體咧，係有長老委員會嘅。OK。Actually, you got a chance, you should read。你有機會咧，你真係要讀晒呢一集啊，因為咧好重要，好重要。OK， 有啲咧係叫犧牲啊，有啲咧叫犧牲。而家幫你講咧，你6歲啊，你會過開身啊，我嗌你揀呢個。OK。Then 佢哋嘅睇法咧係OK 咯，我願意咯，我願意犧牲咧，做一個6歲嘅it's not here 啦 ，it's not written here， 冇喺呢度寫，入邊有好多我讀細咗，不過我簡短嚟講啊嚇。所以呢個其中一個係講點解你揀一個生活啊？你一生出嚟咧幾日啊，你都過開身咗啊？佢講呢個學習啊，唔係俾我㗎，係俾我嘅阿爸阿媽。哇！呢個係 category A， OK。at least 你明白我講緊 category A 係咩冇？
即是係我哋肯定係啱嘅咯。
點解咧？呢個
唔知啊。
唔知啊，因為 OK， 因為我哋講到考試咧。你點樣講？你有聽過先生講關於一個人塵肺嘅，係咪俾嗰個塵肺人嘅考試咧？或者俾嗰啲塵肺嘅人嘅阿爸阿媽啊、細佬啊、大佬啊嘅考試咧？係嗰啲全部人唔係。如果你真係生出嚟啊，你塵肺㗎。頓蠢啊！你乜嘢都唔知嘅，你點樣嚟考試咧？不過咧，調轉頭嚟，邊個考到最多嘅咧？係你嘅身邊嘅人啊！聽過冇？
聽過。
就係呢個你睇，所以我講呢個係入 A 咯，接受得冇？at least
接受。
因為佢講乜嘢？佢講。呢個學習啊，唔係俾我㗎，係俾我阿爸阿媽㗎。不過咧，呢個成個係講咩？揀嗰個生活啊，所以佢哋又俾嗰個長老嚟勸啊。你可以揀呢個生活喎。睇下嚇，做咩我塵肺㗎嚇？係啊 ，OK 咯，我咪做咯。你嗌我做，我犧牲咯，我做咯。所以有得問下啦。有啲嘢係咪？你要了解啊，好似啊，你真係有得選擇或者冇得選擇。 即係好艱難嚟解釋咧，除非你真係讀晒呢個成個集啊，你會了解啊 ，you know, you will understand that there is this thing, you know, like I mentioned in yesterday, with regards to the duality in life, you know, what is yes could be no, what is no could be yes, you know. I mean, you don't be so hard pressed in getting things nailed down. No, nothing is nailed down. Nothing is absolute, you know. Then we carry on. Okay, so what I'm trying to say is the lesson is for the parents. They actually volunteered to end life early. Okay, so they were, you know, few days old. The few days old, basically the soul decided to be a few days old child, and then be somehow and here you can see sudden fatal illness, be killed by someone, you know, abrupt end with life with many catastrophic events. So all these are volunteer 點樣講咧？
自願嘅，
自願啦，或者犧牲啦，係咯。Okay, so you know 有啲啊真係啊，去揀啊，俾人殺啊，去揀啊，做嗰個 Jewish 啊，嗰啲猶太人啊，你知道1941年啊，係講猶太人啊，成大班啊，拎嚟殺嘛，係咪？係講我係願意㗎，我願意嚟做一個咁樣嘅咧，因為我係咯，有其他人嘅呢啲全部咧有其他人嘅考試啊，唔淨止佢自己一個人考試嘅，所以佢願意嚟參加咁樣嘅生活啊。OK， 哇，第13咗，哇，10點。So what I'm trying to say is, you know, you can see that some of them volunteer to be part of the genocide, you know, to take part in genocide, to be, you know, to be killed by someone, to be murdered, you know, 俾人殺啊 you know， 有嗰啲，比如啦 ，Covid 啦，有可能嗰啲細路哥中 Covid 死咗，係咪佢知唔知佢會中 Covid 係會死咧？你講到嗰個靈魂咧，係俾一個咁樣嘅選擇咧，佢真係有啲人咧講，我願意，我係做一個犧牲嚟 you know 有咩理由咧？嗰個理由咧，你讀字下邊啊同埋上邊咧，佢有講晒嗰啲理由。其中一個理由咧係佢最高嘅上邊咧，最高上邊咧係有3個理由。係講乜嘢？我可以進步啊！為咗我嘅靈魂進步咧，我揀一個嘅生活啊！為咗我要學習點樣去唔愛做一個貪嘅人咧。sorry 飛走咗 I don't know. Oh man, I needed to highlight the 3 important points that the whole idea of so-called giving the impression that they have a choice would be, you know, not that they have the impression. This is the objective. What are the specific lessons do I want to undertake to advance my learning and development? So you can reflect. You can now reflect on your life and say, hey, look, you know, what are the problems that am I facing now? What are the problems in my life that I am facing? You pick the biggest problem that you have in your life, and now you reflect upon it and say, hey, look, these problems are chosen by me. Okay, these problems are chosen by me because I want to learn how to work through my problem. I want to learn how to work through my problem and become a better person when I complete my life. Okay, so where should I go and who should I be in my next life for the best opportunity to work on my goals? Okay， 即是講簡短嚟講啦，有冇選擇，有冇選擇咧，唔係一個重要嘅問題啊。問題係你睇嗰個大畫面咧，你要睇到咧，你而家面對到你嘅生活嘅最大嘅問題啊。OK， 你而家睇翻你嘅生活咧，係咯，目前同埋最近你有面對到咩最大嘅問題咧？呢個咧就係有可能咧，你專登揀出嚟㗎，你專登揀你嘅生活咧係有咁樣嘅問題啊。OK， 點解咧？你要點樣講？有可能你嘅上個嘅生活咧係有面對到咁樣嘅問題，所以呢一次咧，因為你面對到你解決唔到，呢一次咧你要重複嚟面對翻一模一樣嘅問題咧，要拎嚟解決啊。OK，so 呢個係一個點樣講好點啦。so 嗰個有得冇得揀咧？嗰個醫生自己咧都有一個點樣講they are not sure how to say 有一個疑問啊，係咪啱冇疑問？
啱有一個疑問，唔肯定。
嗰個醫生自己都有一個疑問啊，你真係有得揀喎，you know，so 唔係講100%呢本書講係有得揀，因為係呢個題目講有得揀，不過咧你睇到一大圈咧，OK 咯，有得揀冇得揀 ，actually 你都無論點你都係要翻嚟做人，OK？ 你點樣做人咧？有啲咧係專登揀到係真係做到好慘，你繼續讀咧，你有啲咧做到真係好慘嘅生活啊，真係好慘嘅生活啊！有一個讀第13集咧係講嗰個阿媽去做一個人嘅阿媽，俾佢嘅仔殺咗啊！你諗，但係專登咁樣喎，佢接受咁樣嘅生活，佢要，你諗，佢都係有嗰個學習啊。OK，that's all， 各位兄弟姊妹，I think 跟翻尋日有有 brother 潘文可以討論到10點半冇 ，so I don't know， 我哋係平常係討論到10點嘅，但我哋都係真係好猛時間，係好想其他兄弟姊妹咧嚟出聲嘅 ，OK， 但我嘅 style 咧係我唔愛逼人講嘅，所以我唔愛逼你開麥嚟，除咗Maggie 啦。
事實上有寫字嗰度，佢講投胎係冇得揀嘅，一切係神聖自然安排，或者叫事實上講下或者點樣
？OK，so 我先頭幫你講good night。如果你真係我哋跟翻我哋嘅宗旨，我哋講到10點，邊個要離開咧？我幫你講 good night 先，你可以 just 離開啦。if 你仲有時間嘅咧，我要求我哋增加到10點半。要求啦，各位兄弟姊妹，你開你嘅麥而講咯。so 事實上有寫點樣講？冇投胎嘅，冇得揀嘅。so 你要講，你咪自己開麥嚟講啦。仲有邊個要講？你咪開麥嚟講啦。
多謝兄弟姊妹，晚上好啊！多謝天公。我睇到我嘅了解啦，拜天公係神聖自然安排，我哋所以投胎冇得揀嘅。投胎咧，我哋一過身咗係咪？係咁，我哋唔自覺落地獄，我哋受苦完咗，再投胎就重新開始嘅，唔會再帶出之前佢做錯咩嘢，或者佢做經一樣嘢，或者做咗好壞喺嗰度。喺今生最出世嘅時候投胎嚟，又做翻之前嘅繼續落去啊，冇嘅，好似卡媽咁樣係冇嘅。我哋唔相信卡媽咁樣嘅咯，好似叫咩？卡媽叫咩？好似因
果報應啊！
因果我哋冇嘅嘛，拜天公冇相信呢啲嘅，將重新一切係從零開始，重新考試咯。而且我聽嗰個先生嘅大啦，佢講，我有啲問先生嘛，先生咁樣靈魂嗰啲投胎咪好多人投胎，會好爆炸或者咩？ 唔使驚嘅，所有嘅嘢係咪？佢冇同你講啊，因為你全部係你自己嗰度 computerize 咗嘅 ，and then 咧全部神聖自有安排嘅。你一到時間你係做錯一個嘅直頭標去嗰度，你一到投胎嘅佢係神聖自有安排會搞掂嘅，你哋唔使你哋去計數咁樣嘅，咁唔需要你哋去計㗎咁，全部一切已經有神聖自有安排咗嘅咯。神聖嘅審判咯，不過判咧都係自己判自己，你嘅自己本身都係一個 computer 嘅，如果。我係帶出呢個啫，我所了解嘅睇拜天公啦，所以我覺得拜天公嘅我了解個投胎係冇得揀噶咯，係覺得得揀我，係叫我講，你呢一次你失去個機會啦，拜天機會一次嘛，你失去個機會咗，可能你要等到唔知幾耐啊，幾多年啊，幾多天啊，或者投胎幾多次，正有機會俾你再移翻拜主嘅家庭，或者有機會照料到係拜主，你正有機會得救啊，所以講。我哋拜天嗰個機會係好重要，愛珍惜嘅咁樣咯，唔係你過開呢個機會係咪？你就冇開個，唔使等到幾時更有呢個機會嚟講，所以我覺得係好重要喎。喺度我係分享到呢度啦，多謝大家，多謝天公。
所以我講一啲啦，我係講係咪正話我講到呢個界線係咪？呢啲人啦，唔知係咪好似冇做壞啊，去靈界或者佢哋冇拜到主啊，去靈界嗰啲咯，因為佢哋好似翻去投胎，佢哋係覺得佢呢一生對人類啊冇咩貢獻咁樣喎。你會去反省啊，翻呢個靈界靈魂嘅世界啊，呢度係講去反省喎，反省睇下應該下一次可以點樣做得更好喎。咁樣佢又冇講到佢哋前生係有做錯乜嘢啊，或者殺人啊咩，所以我係諗住啦，呢啲唔知係咪一個靈界俾佢哋跟住呢啲係好嘅人咯，因為佢哋講話去。後面好似做到好攰啊，好似 exhausted 咁樣啊，唔知係咪佢哋愛幫人啊，又俾人哋蝦啊咁樣嘅意思啦。咁樣呢度可以有一個投胎一個部分，佢係講到22世紀嘅最尾嗰時唔知係咪2200年end of 22nd century 係咩年份啊？所以係講因為嗰啲土地啊，同埋嗰啲空氣嘅變化，佢係睇到好少人咗喎，呢個地球嗰度，仲有睇到嗰啲人未住喺嗰啲建築物係圓頂嘅，圓咁樣嘅。先生好似有講到係人哋係住喺地下，所以我諗住啦，唔知係咪 because of COVID 到時係睇到嗰啲球面好少人咗，唔知係咪移民去第二個星球啦，係都冇咩清楚咯，所以我講到呢度。
Okay, so if 你要講啊，你即刻開你嘅麥，我可以睇到你我停止俾你講啦嚇。所以暫時咧爭取個時間呢個關於 karma。Actually 呢本書都有用嗰個字眼 karma， 不過咧佢唔係講為咗以前你做壞，而家你轉翻塵廢人，唔係咁樣嘅意思。OK，karma 唔係，即是講呢個平常嗰啲佛教講嘅 karma 咧，就係冇嘅。呢本書咧係反嗰個佛教嘅方式嘅 karma。所以即是講，如果你睇到有咁樣咧，你覺得或者修雲咧唔夠知識關於正式嘅佛教嘅 karma， 因為 karma 咧人哋好千妻嚟用啊，所以如果 受運你有自己嘅意思關於 karma 咧，你講呢個係 karma， 你拜天公冇 karma 嘅，所以係啦，呢個我接受啦，因為呢個係受運自己本身嘅 definition， 因為咧一模一樣咧，呢個 doctor 咧都係用嗰個字眼 karma，OK， 不過係離開嗰個佛教嘅意思啊個 karma。如果講一個人啊，佢嘅考試啊，你上一次係一個貪嘅人啊，呢一次啊翻嚟做人啊，係咪會考翻你貪嘅點樣講考試咧？或者講我唔需要，因為佢冇問題嘅關於貪，唔會啊！你即是講，如果上一次你係貪嘅，你落咗地獄，你翻嚟投胎，你係咪學咗你唔會貪咧？所以你點知你唔會你係學到你嘅學習咧？除非你你喺一個生活入邊啊係有貪嘅 ，OK？ 所以即是講in summary, what I'm trying to say is that the Dr. Michael Newton's mention of karma across this book is not the same definition as per the Buddhist type of karma. As in, if you hurt a person, and then the same thing would happen to you because you hurt that person in that way. That means so now you'll be hurt in the same way. Will it? Is that karma? Is that the meaning of it? No. The meaning of karma with regards to what Michael Newton bring about is the life's lesson. The entire objective of reincarnation is to become a better person. So this by itself matches, I would say this is grade A corroboration with what we know with regards to Pai Ting Kong, the whole idea of reincarnation, which we, of course, we want to leave the reincarnation. Okay, we want to leave the cycle of reincarnation, but reincarnation is because we haven't learned the life's lesson. So therefore, the life's lesson, how is it presented to different types of souls would make sense, because certain people, I could be predisposition to be a greedy person. All this while, in multiple reincarnation, I feel the part about greed, or I feel the part with regards to power, hungry for power and things like that. So I fail it. So because I fail it now, I have to come back and face the same problem. It does not make sense to give, for example, an examination to a person who have no problems with greed, but the entire setting of this lifetime is all about greed. But this guy got no problem with greed, or this woman got no problem with greed whatsoever. So she will breeze through the life with no life's lesson. Can you imagine how wasteful the life would be? So if you were to read chapter 12, you will come to this conclusion to say that, so they were looking at that future setting of that they would go through to perhaps rationalize to say that this is going to be a difficult life that I'm going to go through. Yes, I agree to pick this life because I now want to teach myself that lesson that I want to learn. Okay, no matter how difficult that is. So typically the soul would volunteer or choose. Okay, I want to use this word loosely because here we differ in terms of we don't particularly agree that we got a choice. But here in inverted bracket, they choose a life which is within their ability to overcome, but yet not too easy. Souls naturally do not want to pick an easy life just so that they can breeze through it. But having said that, the next chapter they will be talking about souls that actually literally pick an easy life. Then what happens next? So, I mean, it's good to just, consider the possibility, but we are not saying that this is, perfect to be sure, but here's what you should know. Here's what you should know. Sanson picked this book for a book review. Okay, Sanson picked many books, but can you imagine if he picked like 4 books a year, and in the last, how many years of the of his lifetime that he actually picked the number of books. This is one of the fairly important books, that he picked, right? So what do you think, he has to say about the book? Okay, why did he pick the book? So there are corroboration. Okay, there are corroboration. There are important points to take away. Okay. However, the divine nature, okay, the divine nature that someone was talking about, does it mean that everything happens without? When you say divine, what does it mean? Did actually Sanson disagree with the book to say that, oh, no such thing as this? How can you have elders and counselors in heaven, or in the spiritual world? No, there are no counselors, and there are no counselors, there are no elders. No, in fact, Sanson was pretty, pretty happy to see the word. I was thinking, Sanson, hey, look there, counselor and elder. Yeah, counselor, yeah, very interesting. Yeah. That's one of the reasons why Sanson picked. So he has a high degree of concurrence to say that, yes, there are elders, there are counselors. And what the hell are the elders and counselors doing? Divine nature? Yeah, you can say that. They are part of the divine nature. Okay. So if you say that, okay, if you say that, divine law of nature, if you say that the divine law of nature, okay, if you say that the elders and counselors are part of the divine law of nature, then yeah, by all means. But if you say that, oh, everything runs automatically, how? What are the mechanics behind it? Here you go. The book explains very well. The entire system are run by so many souls. In fact, there was one occasion where Sanson went to heaven, talked to angels to make arrangement for this particular soul. Now, why would somebody going to heaven need an arrangement to go? We don't know. We don't know what's going on around in the background. But here in this book, you have a lot of insight into what's happening in the spiritual world. And this is not one of the point of disagreement that Sanson brought up. The point of disagreement that Sanson brought up is, he is asking a question. Do you think if everybody can choose everything that they want in life, do you think everybody will get it? That is the question he would ask. Okay. In fact, the next chapter, chapter 13, 第13集咧，講到好明顯咧，呢個人咧冇得選擇啊！呢個人咧係冇得選擇佢嘅生活啊！直頭講，因為佢係差唔多壞嘅人。OK， 我要答案呢一個多一個係講，OK， 地獄過後咧點樣咧 ？OK， 呢個咧我哋好早講咗嘅，或者你忘記，或者你冇睇。So 你要了解啊，一個靈魂啊，氣到咗地獄啊，過後翻去一個學習嘅地方啊。OK， 呢個學習嘅地方啊係好明顯啊。Sanson 讀咗個書啊，佢接受講係咁樣嘅，有咁樣嘅，係咯。So 學習嘅地方好似呢個咧係講乜嘢咧？係一個人啊，一個開身啊 ，OK。一個開身 ，this for 秀雲啊，因為she asked question that may not shows that she wasn't listening to the or reading the book. A person who passed away, they would immediately see the life, their past life go past them. Exactly what Sanson mentioned, like a television. They even mentioned it's like a television. So, Sanson 講乜嘢，佢哋都講乜嘢。或者呢個人講咧係96年咁樣講嘅，不過咧你係講咩？嗰個生活咧係好自動啊！睇嘅話，全部嗰啲生活啦，佢冇得講冇做嘅咯，佢冇得講我冇咁樣做啊，我冇做壞咩？呢個係一段。講到去地獄咧， 有好大，唔係有好大，呢個直頭係一個人有去到地獄咧。如果你而家我可以點樣講，有個機會嚟催眠你，放翻你地獄啊，你會點樣嘅反應？你會點樣嘅反應？所以即是講嗰個學習係有，不過咧你要知道嗰個催眠嘅醫生嘅限制啊，佢冇得俾你睇地獄啊。不過咧你要去第二本書咧，佢哋有講關於少少關於地獄，因為咧佢聞到嗰個靈魂咧，個靈魂講我過入唔到呢個界線啊。你嗌我去睇，係我有去過咁樣嘅地方，全部黑嘅。不過咧呢個我入唔到啊。所以呢個關於咁樣嘅咧係有好大可能咧，好多嗰啲靈魂咧，而家我哋 case number 25啊 ，case 26啊，呢好多 case 咧有去過地獄嘅。你講啦，一個人殺咗佢嘅阿媽，佢會去地獄冇？佢係真得殺咗阿媽，真係好壞嘅人啊！佢殺咗阿媽，佢會去地獄冇？好大可能去地獄。不過咧，呢個催眠醫生佢有嗰個，佢係咪先生？佢可以開個地獄俾你睇翻啊？係咪？唔得啦，梗係唔得啦。even if 佢得啊，個後果係乜嘢？嗰個後果嗰個人啊，我哋有拜天嗰人，有唔係拜天有邊個有去到地獄啊？不過係打坐嘅咪，佢翻嚟一線都震到咩嘢？先生要，我都忘記咗個 story，總之先生要幫佢翻嚟啊！
先生要俾翻個膽佢，
先生要俾翻個膽嘅佢。So OK， 你要了解呢個有限制，呢個限制。不過咧，你讀一本書你要揀咯，呢個係 A， 呢個係 B， 呢個係 C 咯。有啲係絕對係 C 嘅咯，你可以拎嚟，不過咧，呢個係 actually OK 啦，講到咁多啦，你哋我希望你了解，我哋睇翻呢個書咧，唔係因為你要接受晒全部，你有呢本書有一個好好嘅機會啊。OK， 如果你正話入嚟嘅 ，if you just join us this time around for this book, why we do a book review? Because not everybody, not everyone open to the concept of, hey, let me tell you about praying to the Creator, or let me tell you about 拜天公, there's God, there's heaven, there's hell, there's a soul, and this is what. No, not everybody are open to this kind of talk. But if you were to use an indirect method of preaching, that means, hey, you know what? I just came across this book, and it says this, And then there is a way to open up the conversation using the book to say that, hey, you know what? In my spiritual movement, I know of people who are saying, said my founder, our master has been saying this all this while. And, he's been saying this since 1976, but now we have someone write about this in 1996. This is one way of preaching, and I've been preaching using this book too. And the best part is that I know which part of the book that I may not agree with. I was just saying this is category C, but there are a lot of parts of the book that say, hey, look at this. This is exactly what Bai Ting Kong is saying. This is exactly what we have been saying all this while. And guess what? After 20 years, this guy come around and say the same thing. So you would have to read the book, understand it, and digest it, and then use it to preach. So this is the purpose. So 講到中文 I think 我有解釋過點解我哋用呢本書嚟做一個分享啊，嚟做一個參考拎嚟討論啊。因為咧，你一識得呢本書咗咧，你可以講呢個係 A 嘅資料 ，OK， 我哋接受嘅，有好多成本書係咁樣嘅，我可以用得呢本書咧嚟宣傳，因為咧有啲人咧唔接受啊，直接幫你講啊，我係拜天公嘅，我係跪落去拜天公，點解我跪落去拜天公？有啲人咧聽到咁樣咧，直頭閂咗佢耳仔。不過咧，如果一個係佛教嘅人啊，你愛宣傳俾一個佛教，你講karma，我記得一本書有講 karma 嘅啊，你呢本書。不過咧，你要了解呢本書咧，佢嘅 karma 咧係 反對嗰個佛教嘅 karma 喺度，所以佢嘅 karma 咧係拎嚟解釋，拎嚟解換咗去，所以講埋啊冇嗰個投胎係嗰個動物喎，所以你話你咯呢個係人哋好接近，所以嗰啲佛教嘅咧係讀到咧，你拎嚟解釋，你講我你加幾樣嘢咧，拜天公就咁樣講，you know 你幫人哋傾偈啊，人哋講 yes 好多次啊，你加多兩樣嘢，加多兩樣嘢落去啊，你都係講 yes 嘅喎，你翻嚟考慮下，做咩我講 yes 㗎？你拎翻個書，你講我哋有拜天公嘅資料喺呢度，你睇下都係，你可以呢一個機會嚟宣傳 ，OK， so 呢個係嗰個理由點解我哋揀書嚟點樣講分享嚟討論 ，OK， 仲有咩冇？因為
夠鐘。
OK， 多謝天公，我哋拜天公，好多謝天公，有咁多兄弟姊妹出現。
OK， 投俾 Brother Alex On。Yeah，
投俾 Brother Alex On。and
我要峰啦，嗰個阿峰姐嘅女啊。
So yeah。
楊成德 family。
OK，yeah。So 仲有兩個 Brother On， 一個 Brother Leong。OK，good night，good night，Brother Alex Andrew 華仔，Sister Mary。
Thank you。
Good night，good
night。
Cảm Linh, good night.
Thank you.
Good night.
Bye.
Good night, Afai. Good night, Brother Sam. Good night, Brother Ong Eki.
Thank you.
Good night, bye-bye.
Good night, Chị Trung. Vivian, good night. Sister Liu, good night.